What's going on, everybody? It's Top Bets. We're checking back in. We got our week 2 on the dot NFL live stream coming at you guys here on a beautiful, beautiful Sunday morning. High off of a ton of optimism, as always is around Sunday morning. Couldn't wait to get back to the show. Had an unfortunate show last week where we got swept on the props. Went 2-5 minus 3.55 units. I could not be more excited to give you guys more additional winners this morning here. So really pumped to get back after it. I did have some people chirping in the comments on Twitter. I love that shit. So keep going. If I continue to suck, I love to hear that. But yeah, we did hit a massive touchdown parlay last week, not for the show, but we did have for the Occupy Discord and for my own Discord. So are there for the touchdown parlays. We are excited to get after it again this morning on that front. As always, the show's powered by the guys over at Occupy Fantasy. I will show you guys all of their betting odds, live odds, betting deposit bonuses, and their great Prop radar, which we did not get to display last week, but we will definitely do it this week. Basically type in a team, player, anybody's name, and you can see all their odds at all sports books around. So without further ado, let's get after it. And if you guys have any additional questions, throw those in the comments. And if you guys are on YouTube, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. Why not? We're going to be here for all 18 weeks of the season. Love to see you guys come back each and every week. I know some of you guys might be pissed from last week, but hey, it's week 1. Get over it. All right. So if this is your first show, we are going to give you a spread, a total, a teaser that has shared with my subscribers, and I will give you 3 prop bets, and then my pick to click anytime touchdown player of the week. Last week we had Kenneth Walker. The first half was atrocious. I did not know if that was going to be it, and he was the final piece, the big parlay that I hit. And man, was I was sweating it a little bit after that first half. But nonetheless, ran up that sideline, got in the end zone, and the rest is history there. So glad we could that. CCD Sports Talk, what's up, bud? Thanks for the trophy. Appreciate it. And if you guys have any season-long questions, prop questions, start sits, we got anything and everything for the next 30 minutes. I am all yours. DFS as well. I'll give you guys some DFS strategies that I'm implementing this week. Another strange week, soft pricing. Correlation doesn't have to be on point, which in these first several weeks, it's truly kind of a crapshoot where, it's so soft pricing that you don't have to. I like it when you have to stack and get that stack right, and target the particular game. I think price you don't have to do that so much in the first 3 or 4 weeks, but I have some strategies nonetheless that I will share throughout the show. Wheezy's back again. I lost my house on Georgia last night. Needs some locks. Yeah, college football was pretty wild yesterday, and I even teased Rice up for my own self in a nice parlay to win a grand or so. I just needed them to not lose by 10 points, and sure as shit they lose 33-7, and not ideal. But yeah, Georgia, that was a strange game after Kentucky gets blown out by South Carolina. Nonetheless, let's get after some NFL. Enough with those student athletes, I always like to say. All right, so let's get into it. We got our first spread of the week, and man, oh man, I hold your nose. We're gonna go to Burrowhead. We're gonna go the Bengals. I know if no one wants to bet this, that's totally fine. This is the right angle here, in my opinion. Here we got the Bengals, who absolutely have owned the Chiefs, coming off a horrific loss at home to the Patriots. It's never a better time to get back on the Bengal train. I know a lot of you guys just lost them in Survivor. If you've watched Occupy's show on Saturday, where they talk Survivor bets, you should not have. That was a prime time letdown game for the Bengals. It was more of like a trap game because you have the Chiefs as week 2, And I think that all of their energy in the offseason probably is more focused toward this game than it was the Patriots. Now add on top that they lost that game. Man, oh man, great spot. And for whatever reason, I thought this was continue to go down. It's actually 6.5 this morning. It was 6 yesterday. So you really have a struggling Cincy team going into Burrowhead, and we're going to see how that goes today. But off of a loss on the road, Joe Burrow is 10-3 against the spread, and more than likely, if for a week 2 dog that's lost outright or lost by more than or lost week 1 and are 6-point dogs the following week, they cash at like 65%. So again, all these different factors, and the Bengals were so incredibly unlucky last week. They muffed the punt and they fumbled, I think, in the red zone, which caused the Patriots to just eat up the clock. And for whatever reason, they just could not muster anything. And maybe the Patriots defense is a little bit better than what we thought in the offseason. So give me the Bengals here to cover plus 6.5. If you want to sprinkle the outright, go right ahead. But I'm not saying that. I'm not sitting up here and saying that they're going to win. I will not. I'm not going to say that. But I love this number here to go back to week 2, classic overreaction here, and we're going to continue to go with the Bengals. So we got Weezy says no. I don't blame you. I don't blame you if you don't want to take it. That's totally fine. He went Chiefs -6 last night. Good. Yep. So this is a spot hold your breath moment here. But I definitely think it's the right number to get. And the Bengals usually play the Chiefs very, very close. So we're gonna go Bengals plus 6.5 -108 over on DK. And let me show you guys a nice feature from the board that Occupy to there. We got the betting tab right here. Go to the live odds, and you can see all from DraftKings to Caesars to BetMGM, all the different sports books that you can bet at. And we are going to go back to where's the Bengals game there. So it's 6.5 across the board now. That means there's definitely some Chiefs money coming in, public money probably, which is totally fine. I'm totally okay with the Bengals here. It's a hold your breath moment. It's not a fun bet to make, but I think it's the right one with the additional, if you dig into it. All righty, let's go back at it here. We got our spread. We got our spread done. Okay. And we're going to go to the second one. We got a total here. We're going to go another overreaction here. Okay. Saints, Cowboys under 47 -110. I got that over on DK. You have basically the Saints coming off of their best performance that you'll probably see them play all season long. You have such a horrific start to the season from the Panthers. I think this is an overreaction line with how the Saints performed week 1 to how the Cowboys dissected the Browns in week 1 as well. And if you look into it, I don't think Derek Carr is very good. And if you get pressure on him, that offensive line, the Panthers could not get to him. This defensive line for the Cowboys, Micah Parsons, should be able to get after him. And he is like the 24th or 25th rated quarterback when you get to him. And who pressures the only team than the Cowboys last season was the Dolphins. So Cowboys are going to be able to get after him at home. I don't see the Saints putting up a huge number here. It's going to be more of a methodical dink and dunk game for Kamara. Go that route. But then you also have the Cowboys. And the Cowboys, they played pretty slow last week. And I get it. They jumped out to a big lead, but they settled for a lot of field goals. And that Browns defense is very, very good. But I really think the way to go about this, I really just think I'm fading more of the Saints and that offense. So Saints, Cowboys under 47, 2 kind of hold your breath ones. I think they're 2 overreaction lines. And so We're going to go with the Bengals, and then we're going to go with the Saints, Cowboys under. All right, so let's go to our 3-player props here, and we're going to bring back up the Occupy website here. And we're going to go to the Occupy my website. It is if you bet props, yeah, I don't know why you would not use it. So our first prop here, we're going to go to that Cleveland Jaguars game here. And we're going to go to Jerome Ford, and it's going to be his total receiving yards at 19 and a half. 19 and a half over on FanDuel. As you see on the screen here at the OccuProp radar, it is super easy to use. Over 21 and a half is as high at BetMGM, and then it's as low as 19 and a half over on DK. You can simply click go now, and you got it. And go ahead and bet that there. So Jerome Ford over 19 and a half receiving yards. He has hit this in 3 of his last 4 starts. And then you also have to, if you watched Deshaun Watson play, his shoulder is absolutely messed up. It has to be. There's no doubt about it. His shoulder is lingering. That issue is lingering with him. You got nobody was targeted more than Jerome Ford last week other than Justice Hill. And that was in the Ravens' efforts from last week as they were trailing big time to the Chiefs. I knew the game script last week was that the Browns were down. Always had a lot more feet, but Jerome Ford is the guy there until Chubb comes back. So he's always on the field. I'm totally fine here with taking Jerome Ford over 19 and a half receiving yards. And Achane absolutely thrashed them last week. Went for 7 and 76. I'm totally fine with if you want to do Jerome Ford's receptions over to the receiving yards, but I like the receiving yards here for Jerome Ford. All right, so the second one here, we are going to go to that Detroit Tampa game is one of the favorites probably for DFS purposes. Game script here, Rachaad White, and I'm going to go back to a running back. And I'm going to go back to his receiving yards. This guy, I don't even know if game script even matters. He's just part of the game plan every single week. Back to here. Let's go just type in Rachaad White and go down, and we'll see total receiving yards at 25 on FanDuel, 26 and a half at the rest of the sports books here featured. So obviously get the best line, but Rachaad White, negative game script, as I said, and he also just played these guys in the wild card. Went for 4 for 36. Obviously, Detroit's going to come out and try to game plan against him, but on Baker is definitely one that I want to target here. The Lions definitely get after the quarterback as well, and when Baker gets pressured, he's got to have dump offs. He's got to have quick throws. Rachaad White should be featured once again. Totally fine here with Rachaad White over 25 and a half receiving yards as he's hit this. Let's see. He had 7? 6 for 75, 4 for 36. He has been featured in this offense. Guy that moves the chains for him. He's had 4 or more receptions in his last 5 of his last 6 games. If you want to go the reception route, I think his receptions are over 3.5. It's just a little bit more juiced. So I think he could break off a screenplay here for at least 1 or 2 catches to get to this number. Totally fine here. Rachaad White over 25 and a half. We had Wheezy ask a question here. He says, Ford at 20 and a half still to take. Yeah, go down a little bit, but I mean, 19 and a half, 20 and a half, I'm okay here. With Ford, he should probably be in that 25 to 28 range in my eyes. All right, keep with the questions. We will be here for another 5 to 10 minutes or so. We got a couple more props to go, or one more prop to go, and then we have the teaser with our anytime touchdown bet. So keep those questions coming. We'll talk a little bit DFS at the end of the show. All right, back at it here with another prop. And this guy is sneaky to me because if you watched the Steelers play last week, he got 20 plus carries. He didn't do much with them, but I think with Justin Fields in the mix here, Najee is a very, very good, very, very good option for this team. And if you saw the comments after the game, you saw Arthur Smith basically talk this guy up, call him Derrick Henry-esque, which was a pretty high praise here. But we're going to go back to the well here, and I like Najee to score today. He's not my pick to click, but I do like him, so he's going to be featured in some of my touchdown parlays. I think he's like plus 180 or something like that. Pretty good number. But we're going to go Najee over 15.5 rush attempts. So we're going to go back to the IR and show you guys how easy it is to utilize this. Make sure we are indeed getting the best number. Najee, go back down. We're going to go total rushing attempts. And we got 15.5 across the board. And you can see it's more juiced over at Caesars at minus 129. That's actually plus 102 over on FanDuel. Obviously, take it over on FanDuel. But Najee, you got Warren not 100%. And Cordell Patterson's there. He might take one or two. I don't think it's necessarily going to be in the mix too much. But this Denver D just got obliterated by Kenneth Walker. 20 plus carries for Kenneth last week. I don't see a reason why Arthur goes away from the game plan. Like I said, with Justin Fields behind center, he's not the greatest passer. Arthur Smith loves to run the football. He loves the fact that he has got Najee Harris back here. And I'm getting ahead of the sports books here because I think if he does end up getting featured here, you're going to see this number be 16, 17.5 moving forward. And I'm taking one more week with Jaylen Warren not being 100%. So Najee Harris over 15.5 rush attempts. Oh. What's up, Brock? Appreciate you tuning in. We got Henry, JT, Connor, or I'm assuming Mason. Pick 3 for fantasy purposes. Damn, this is a good problem to have. I'm guessing you were the one who cobbled up Jordan Mason at the end of draft. So kudos to you, man. I'd probably not play James Conner, which is bad because I like him this week. But I think Henry, JT, and Mason are pretty good options there. So kudos to you for a nice running back room there on your team. But I'd probably sit James Conner there. All right, appreciate that question. That was tough. That's a tough question. They're tough or a good problem to have for sure. All right, we got our teaser, and I usually go a 3-team teaser, but I'm going to keep it simple. Let's go off 2 favored guys, 2 favorite teams, and you're probably going to be seeing a lot of these guys for Survivor leagues, but we're going to go the Ravens 6-point teaser with the Cowboys minus 120, but let's go 1.5 units. Let's go a little bit more heavy here, as I don't see either one of these teams having a problem here today. I talked to you guys about how I think the Saints offense is due for some regression against the Panthers. The Cowboys defense is night and day. The pressure that this Cowboys team is going to will create opportunities for their offense. Ravens, probably the most sure bet of the week to end up getting a W. I'll take teasing them down between a great number here of under 3. So minus 2.5. Cowboys. Sorry, it's minus 0.5. That's the wrong edit there. But yeah, 6-point teaser. Ravens, Cowboys. Love this spot here. And let's go to our pick to click here. Our touchdown and our first TD score. I'm going to go back to the OccuProp radar here because I really, really like this guy's number over on FanDuel. Let's see if it'll pop up here. So we're going to go to Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson, plus 170 touchdown. Let's see. Let's go to touchdowns here to score a touchdown. So he's plus 170 over here on FanDuel. He's actually, so I looked right before the show. He's plus 950 for the first TD score, but he's plus 850 right now. I'll take plus 850 if that's what you guys can get. But I always like to target these guys who kind of have these roller coaster odds between sports books. You have Jonathan Taylor being one of the similar guys. He's minus over on DraftKings, but he's plus on FanDuel. It's kind of like those roller coasters. So you got 150 here, plus 138, plus 155, plus 170. I just think you see a lot more value if you go that route on those guys. So obviously take the best number here on FanDuel. You saw on Monday Night Football, Rodgers just had to get his feet wet. I think just getting him back into a football game was huge for that team. Obviously, Breece Hall was featured. He's going to continue to be featured, but Garrett Wilson is what I think what makes this team special and what will make Rodgers' season right here. He also had 11 targets. I think he had like 40+% target share. I know Lazard got 2 touchdowns. I just think that's more of more fluky than anything. I saw a lot of people pick up Lazard. Not going to end up being a factor too much down the season. I don't think. You got Mike Williams coming back. But Garrett Wilson will continue to be the guy, heavily favored in this plus 170. I think we're ahead of the market here and getting a great number because if he scores this week, he's going to be plus 120, plus 130. And you're also going against this Titans team, which looks great because you had him play, Caleb Williams' his first outing, and Caleb Williams did not look the greatest, less than 100 yards or passing or something along those lines. You're still going to be able, you're not going to be able to put Aaron Rodgers in a bottle like that, especially with the receiving core of Garrett Wilson here. So I like Garrett Wilson this week to score here. So we got Weezy Ravens, but teased it with the 49ers. 49ers, I'm a little scared on that. That game is one of those ones where I'm like, why would I not hammer the 49ers? But there's been so much sharp money coming in on the Vikings. And I've seen that number go from like 6.5 all the way down to 4, I think right now, 4. It's one of those games. I don't have a great read on it. So it's one of those ones I passed. If you have a view of it and you think the 49ers roll, I'm totally fine with that. But I have my doubts with the 49ers. They looked great week 1. Like I said, it was Rodgers' first game back, Super Bowl, or they missed Super Bowl, had revenge on their mind to get back on the football field. So I think a little bit of a letdown here, but I could be wrong. So I just stayed totally away from that game. But if you like the 49ers, I'm cool with that. All right, so let's recap real quick. And if I'll be here for another 5 minutes or so, we'll talk DFS and we'll get up on out of here. So let's recap real quick. We got the Bengals plus 6.5. Hold your breath. We got the Saints, Cowboys under 47. We got Jerome Ford over 19.5 receiving yards. Rashad White over 25.5 receiving yards. Najee Harris, 15.5 rush attempts. We have the Ravens, Cowboys 6-point teaser. Go a little bit more heavy. We got 1.5 units there. That is also a subscriber play here. I always like to shout out to the subscribers and give you guys something for tuning in for the show. And then we got Garrett Wilson plus 170, and then the first touchdown score of the game. It's plus 850 now, but I actually took it when it was plus 950 right before the show, and it went down to plus 850. So those are the week 2 props and plays. So appreciate you guys for tuning in for those. I'll be here for some DFS talk and to answer your comments and questions. So how I'm attacking this DFS slate, like I said, kind of prior to diving into the props and plays, it's soft pricing. Once again, you don't have to correlate as much. You saw, and one thing I was mad about myself, because I even said it last week on the show. I said, man, Baker has he's low owned. He's in a great spot. I think he's a great high risk play for GPPs on DFS. And of course, my ass doesn't list myself, and I played my stacks that didn't obviously do too well. The Kyler Murray stacks and such like that, and Marvin Harrison, who got 1 reception for 4 yards. but it's week 2. So a couple options here, a couple of ways that you can go about it. I think the Ravens, even though that they're they I think if you Flowers, Lamar, and or if you want to go there, you can go some different options. Also have the Lions who are coming in at pretty good high risk GPPs there with Goff and Amon-Ra. You got Goff and Jamison Williams if you are good with that ankle, and then you have Goff with Laporta. So a little bit more expensive on those fronts, but I think with the Masons, the Zach Charbonnets, and obviously I think everyone's going to be putting Mason and Cup in their lineups this week because they are the most mispriced in the entire slate. But I do think that there's good additional value and a different route maybe on tight end. Maybe go if you go a Laporta because people are going down to Schoonmaker, Akins, Parkinson's. You get a little bit different if you go with the heavier exposed tight ends. Has a little bit different lineup construction. Then you get to those mid-tier receivers where I think you could win this week. So that's a little bit of strategy I'll implement to you guys. But those are probably my 2 stacks that I like are Detroit and Baltimore. If you wanted to have a third one, if you didn't like any one of those, you could go a Stafford Cup or Stafford Robinson or Stafford Parkinson's, or if you go Stafford and Kyron, if you think some mix there in the passing game, and run it back with maybe a Harrison that won't many people go back to, or a McBride. So those are 3 pretty good game features or games to feature there for the stacks. So. All right, that's a little bit of discussion there for DFS. If we don't have any other additional questions, I'll get up on out of here. As always, you can DM me over at .bets on X. Make sure you guys check out occupyfantasy.com. Sign up for their lineup optimizers. They have the best projections optimizer in the DFS industry, along with all their free prop betting tools on their site. It's a no-brainer. Make sure you guys join them. Make sure you told them I sent you. All right, we'll get up on. We appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll be back same time. Okay. Hopefully, after we've had a positive show, more touchdown parlays hit. So let's get after it. Optimism is always incredibly high. I appreciate you guys tuning in. See you guys.